Rylee, your team is home for the last 4 games of the season. We're going to start with Think Pink, which is against Western Washington on Thursday. I bet you guys are excited to get back on your home court.
Yeah, I think especially for this Think Pink game, it has a little bit more meaning to us. So I think that we'll be able to come out there and have a little extra fire and intensity. And these next 4 games are huge for us. So I think that this week in practice, it's also super important. But I think that it'll be 2 good games.
I actually went to the game at Western Washington, and it seemed like the team had one of their more complete performances. I know it was a bit heartbreaking at the end on that 4-point play, but everyone contributed to the game. Why don't you talk about that? And I'm sure that's something that you're looking for everybody this time around, too.
I think that for Western Washington, defense is going to be a huge factor for us. And I think that especially in our last game, that was one of the best things that we did. We had a complete game both defensively and offensively, and we shared the ball really well, and I think that that's going to be the goal for this game also.
And in talking about Think Pink, it's the 11th annual. I know you said your team's pretty excited to host it. Usually have a good crowd, a lot of things going on. Does that play into it as well?
Yeah, I think that'll also play into it. This game's dedicated to Vanessa's mom, and I think that we'll try to really get up for that because it means a little bit more to us, but we're also just focusing on winning and hoping for the best outcome.
And since you do have the last 4 games at home, I'm sure that has more meaning to everybody on the team too.
Yeah, playing at home I think is a lot easier, and I think it's way more exciting. We always have our home crowd, and it's just a better environment for us, so hopefully we can get up for that also.
You talked about sharing the ball more, being more defensively minded. Talk about what that means to the team, when they go out on the court and they need to be able to perform on both sides.
I think that, for us, our performance starts on defense and then it carries over to offense, and I think that that's going to be a huge thing for us to focus on is, start at the defensive end and then hopefully offense will come later.
And what will it mean for your teammates to all put on the pink uniforms and step out onto the court? I know you're going to take a picture with the survivors first and take roses out.
Mm-hmm. It's always great to have the survivors out there. I think it's an awesome experience. The game, it just obviously means a little bit more that night, and it's really awesome to see the crowd out there with all their pink on, so I think it'll be a really fun game.
Marissa, Think Pink coming up this Thursday against Western Washington. I understand that the team met with the St. Vincent Healthcare's Breast Cancer Survivors Group on Monday. How was that, and what were some of the things that you participated in?
I've done it now for the last 4 years, and I really enjoyed it. Each and every time, it really brings out emotion, just sitting there with everyone. And this year we didn't get to hear their stories, but we got to listen to one of the doctors here in town just kind of talk about a few things on how to be healthy and kind of be preventative. And it was really a moving experience. I know this game will be very meaningful to all of us as well, but I enjoy it every time.
And I understand that you took a tour this time?
Yes, we've never done that, and I've actually never been into that part of the hospital, and so it was kind of cool kind of seeing their new equipment. They actually had just gotten a new machine that night, not that night, but the day before, and so it was kind of neat seeing that and how many people they help with different things. They kind of gave out more statistics, and it was really neat seeing what we do through the selling of our shirts and how our game affects the EVA project. So I really support everything they do, and I really want to try to get more shirts because it's a really huge thing there.
Community involvement, I know, is big with your team, and I know this event in particular, Think Pink Night and the EVA project, especially since it is a community project. All of the funds raised here directly affect women in this community.
Not only here in Yellowstone County, but I guess the mammogram van, which helps with the EVA project, goes all the way to Miles City and surrounding areas. So that's not only you're helping the women here in Yellowstone County, but those around the state as well, and that's really neat.
So on Thursday, a big game against number 17 Western Washington. We were talking to Rylee earlier about how well the team played when they were in Bellingham. So it's certainly that you can play with any opponent.
It's true, we can. When we show up and we play a complete game, from the start, it's always starting from the defensive end. I know I reiterate that a bunch, but it really does. It starts with defense, and we've noticed when we've had good defensive games, our offense kind of flows. And during that Western Washington game, our defense was really in sync, and we became in sync on the offensive end, and it was fun to watch. And I just hope we can keep that rolling for the rest of the season. And it was a heartbreaker, but you know, you can always make up for that here.
And it will be Think Pink Night. There'll be a lot of pink in the crowd. You're going to do some activities ahead of time. I'm sure that will pump the team up as well.
Of course, every year it's been great. Last year we had the Root Sports here, and that was incredible. But this year it has a little extra meaning to it in regards to Vanessa and it being dedicated to her and her mom. That's going to be very emotional. But that emotion, we can use that, and I think that's going to be really good fuel to the fire. And having the supporters there as well, it's just something we can do for them, and it just makes it a little bit more special in the end.
Coach, pretty exciting 2 weeks coming up for the Yellow Jackets. Last 4 games of the regular season all at home, so I'm sure the team and you are excited about that. First thing this Thursday, hosting nationally ranked Western Washington during your annual Think Pink Night.
Yeah, it's always one of our favorite games of the year. This week our players were able to go and spend time with the breast cancer survivors group at St. B's, and they really look forward to that, and we hope to have a great crowd, but it's an awesome cause, and we definitely want to promote breast cancer awareness in the community, and it should be a great doubleheader as well.
So it's the 11th annual, the 11th time you and or the MSUB women's basketball program and the St. Vincent Healthcare's EVA project have teamed up. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and the benefits for both sides?
Well, there's a lot of things that go on that night. We're selling shirts for $20 to help raise money for the project, which gives free mammograms to women age 40 and above that need that. We invite the breast cancer survivors down before the game and take a picture with both teams and give them some premier seating. It's all women for that game night are admitted free, and raffles and just a lot of different things going on. I think it's really a fun, festive atmosphere. If people can come out to the game, I think they'd really enjoy it. We're playing an excellent team in Western Washington. They only have the one loss this year in league. We've had a really good game with them a few weeks ago over there. I think we caught their attention, but they've been playing well. They continue to win, and we're going to have our hands full, but we're looking forward to the contest.
And you mentioned the game you played a couple weeks ago. Certainly a complete game, went right down to the wire in terms of the final score. I know your players are probably looking forward to getting back out on the court against them.
Yeah, despite the loss, I think it was actually one of our most consistent performances. We didn't really have a lull throughout the game on either end. I thought our intensity was very good, and hopefully we can play like that again. Lately, we've played pretty well on the Thursday games, but then on Saturday have a hard time finishing the second game. So I hope we can get off to a good start this week. We definitely respect them. They're very good. Taylor Peacock's one of the premier players in our league. She demands attention. She's a great scorer, and she just can beat you in so many ways, whether it be from the three-point line and beyond, or off the dribble, or even a pull-up. She's definitely one of the top players in this great league. So the key, as always, will be to just be consistent. We need to play good defense. We need to rebound, limit their second shots. And then offensively, we're going to have to get balanced scoring from a lot of people and really try to avoid a significant stretch where we can't score. When we do that, we're pretty good.
And moving to Saturday against Simon Fraser, on the road you played Simon Fraser first and then Western Washington second. At Simon Fraser, had a little trouble in that last quarter. You were talking about consistency. What are you going to be telling your players out on the court against the Clan?
We're just going to have to guard effectively. They're one of the best teams in the league as well. A lot of great players, experienced point guard in Ellen, Kent, and Meg Wilson, among others. They just have a lot of three-point shooters and a system that works for them. So we will have to be ready again. I know we'll be tired going into that game, but it has to be from a mental standpoint. We've got to get it done as well. We played most of that game there, pretty competitively there. But like you said, in the fourth quarter, it got away from us. We tried to match them in a scoring barrage, and we just couldn't keep up. I think we need to keep that score a little bit more down, maybe in the 60s. They have a tendency they can get very hot and score at will. So I don't think that's quite the kind of game that we could beat them in.
And I know your players, we talk about this all the time about being at home and how important it is, especially probably in these last games where you are able to be here in Billings.
Yeah, we'd like to finish the season well with these 4 games and just kind of see where we stand if we can get hot at the end. There's still a lot of jockeying around for positions. And with just the one senior, we'd like to send her out to the best that we can. Tiana's done a very good job both on and off the court this year. So I know our team's excited about both of these games this week, and I hope we can play well.